We're improving the experience they have when they come to hospital. They come to hospital, so for example, they don't have anything. We get them TV cards, we can get them things in the shop to make their stay more comfortable. We try and be there constantly. We'll come see you on a daily basis if need be. Is there any problems to make sure you do stay in the hospital, finish your treatment if necessary. And so we sort of like, for example, they'll say to us such and such, you know, having problems or whatever, well, we can speak to the ward, you know, who's saying this, you know, is there, you know, it might be a genuine thing, but he's not being heard necessarily. And we can go, well, have quite a word with the nurse, you know, I know it can be difficult, but is this because of is that possible to do it that way? Try and negotiate and make their life experience while in hospital a lot better. If for some reason they're not, you know, being heard on the ward or whatever reason it is, they'll just go off or whatever, and they'll just bounce back in via A&E. So we try and sort of, you know, try and keep them in as long as possible until they're medically fit and cleared to be gone. And then so we're working with the outreach team in the community to get things coordinated. If they have to be discharged, sometimes it has to be first thing, they have to be at house by a certain time. We have to make sure the ward has got more geared up, ready to go. So I'm constantly going to the ward. If the medication ready, I'm bleeping the doctors, make sure please all that TTA is to be ready because he's got to get a first thing. If he doesn't, he's going to miss that appointment. He'll be blocking up the bed for, you know, it's those things I have to push it. The ward, they can do anything, but I have to be the driving force. It's like the brush sweeping it along. Sometimes you need that push to make sure things are in place. Me here every day, I can make sure things are done. However, if the ward did it, it's a different person on that day, and it gets fragmented and it's not seamless. With me, I'm sort of like in the middle. I'm working with the housing, I'm working with social service, I'm working with the outreach team, so I can see the whole picture where the others necessarily wouldn't. And sometimes I don't think they quite get it. Because I'm seeing everybody and they're just seeing one or two things. Because I'm knowing what you're doing and I know what you're doing, I know what you're doing, but that one wouldn't know what that one's doing. Because working the discharge is such a big area and people don't understand it. And until I got there, I didn't understand how wide and how widespread it is. It's satisfying in the sense of, like now, working with patients, you know, they're in hospital, need to discharge them, and having a good outcome, you've got somewhere to send them to when they didn't have somewhere before. It's an achievement. You've coordinated everything and they're going to a safe place to be discharged to. It's not always the ideal or it's not always the perfect solution, but you've got somewhere. They're not just going to say, oh, here you go, oh, I don't know what you're going to do. It's nice when you're discharging somebody and you've got, for example, if you found an accommodation, it was something to resolve, because sometimes when you first start working with somebody and their situation is very complex and you're working with the housing, for example, and you're getting difficulties or trying to break through the barriers or the obstacles, and they want this and they want that. And sometimes you think, gosh, is the outcome going to be good? What am I going to do if they don't house them? And when you're battling weeks on end and the patient's saying, God, am I going to have somewhere to go? He said, yeah, we're working with them. And you meet with the patients regularly to inform them what you're doing and what's happening. But sometimes you're thinking, gosh, is it going to work out? And so when it does, it's so satisfying.